Welcome to the Condor DM show. Off script. That means unlike other nights, I have nothing written down. I have some plans on sort of freehanding, saying some things, like, talking about some ideas, and I'll bring them up and see how far we dig into them, what your thoughts are. But it's all about us, all about talking to you tonight. That's a big portion of DMs for AD&D 1E. I hate to criticize, but that's what happens. It's you can't. Certain guys just aren't meant for the role of Dungeon Master, and if you don't have a creative mind, in my opinion, you should. In my opinion, it's not an insult on people. We should get back in the player's seat, and whatever little bit of criticism we can squeeze out of you, let's get it in that area, because the creativity simply does not exist where you're just being somebody who runs it by the book, running somebody else's adventure. That's what I call modules. I hate to say it, guys, but I think some of you know my opinion on that is a module is another Dungeon Master's adventure. And my opinion growing up is I never wanted to run another guy's game. Like, I don't want to run his adventure. I want to run my own. I had a group of characters actually had that happen to them. It was just a group of just not having the fucking smart fucking take the initiative player up front. It's been like 3 sessions in. The players have just forgotten the drilling on the statement. And the disembodied voice will just not let them pass go on the first question. And it's meant to be the easy one. And there's other hints too for the further questions, but they can't even get past one, so they're gonna fucking, like, at one point it was just like, okay, guys, get the books. Like, why? I'm like, well, you're not getting out of here. And there was another way out. I had 2 other ways out. I remember that one puzzle I had 2. That was one of the early experiences I had where a group just brain fart. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I had 2 other ways to get out, but they just didn't figure it out. So it was like, if you don't answer the questions, you gotta get your way out. Man, it was funny for me, and even had the disembodied voice like getting like sarcastic, like, this one's the easy question, guys. And so when the disembodied voice starts poking you, right, verbally, they should have. Here's what they did: they wasted their time not knowing and trying to figure out the answer instead of going, okay, if we don't know the answer, they should have made a quick decision. Is there another way out of this room? They could have asked for a delay too. That's another thing they didn't know. They didn't know that they could actually ask for more time, but they had to ask, and I couldn't hint that at them. They have to ask. But Philo gets it right away. Monty Python, fucking ridiculous. Now I think funny is funnier when the setting is serious. So I love funny. Don't ever get it wrong, but I don't like gonzo funny. I like funny where it's, look, you're in a serious world, you're in the serious thing, but the funny thing happens anyway. To me, in a serious setting, when the funny shit happens, it's even funnier, right? It's even funnier, right? And the holy hand grenade. They could have got out. If they would have asked for more time, they could have used it to either try to get out if they couldn't figure out the answer. They could have started trying to look right away. But by the time they decided, man, we'll try to look for a way out, the water's like up to their fucking knees. Now shooting the gun will not feel like that at the table anymore. And now you end up falling into the problem every other game that's going to have guns like that falls into. Right? And you ask players, what do you think is like shooting a gun? Like no. Every player, almost every tabletop role-playing game, at first, guns sound great until you get in and you're game playing with them and you're like, bang. Okay, yeah. Okay. Bang. Even though realistically, in life, you can just take that gun and bang, 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 bang. On all these other experiences and other games that are made from this stuff to recreate that feel, like a Rust or Daisy. Bang, 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 bang. At the table, what about the knockback? What kind of bullet is it? How many sticks are up my ass? Do I sit on the sticks? Sorry to be so poignant about it, but this was my attitude. This is a really harsh attitude of, this is when I went from, I like realism, I like also like, and I like the mix of everything, but there's an element of game that we are able to take advantage of. I would do what I call goblin campaigns. They'd be short runs, they wouldn't be the long ones, but I'd let everyone play goblins. But understand, you're not playing the goblins from WotC. You've been playing the monster goblins, and usually it would be like you're thrown out of your goblin tribe, and you'd almost have nothing, and the group would have to play. And these were side fun games. I only did a few times, but they were so fun because it was just, how would you get by in a world where the humans don't want you, other goblins don't want you, and here you are thrown into the fucking wilderness with nothing. Like with nothing, right? And you got to decide how you're going to play these little monsters. And no, I mean, you could make that a thing, but no, I never allowed people to. Goblins were monsters. Drow are monsters. Like I treat them like monsters. I always, the idea of, I'd hear people wanting to, like, outside of that fun thing, and that was fun. I won't lie to you. Like having people that play these little goblin runs, that was for fun. That was for fun. It was curious fun, and it was interesting to see how people would deal with that. But no, when I have people come around like, could I play the monster? No, dude. Goblins are monsters, dude. They belong in the monster manual. We wouldn't turn on each other. It was just never. It's not like we just never thought to do it. Seriously, I never, the guys I played with, we would have fun. I remember one of the first Evil campaigns I went in, I'm playing these characters I'm playing a character in a group of characters, and we first get into a prison island. So we're all being arrested for shit we didn't do. And initially we're not even, well, some of us are evil. One of the guys with us is a retired warrior who's been accused of murdering his own wife, but it wasn't really him murdered his own wife. It was like some noble murdered his wife and accused him of shit, right? Either way, we all end up in a prison island. We fight our way off of that place, and then we get to this other place where we're going to a town after we've escaped. And I hear you. And we went to this town where we realized there was already thieves guilds there. So we set up, we decide, oh fuck it, we're gonna pressure this guy to take over his bar. So we've already stolen a bunch of money. We get this guy to agree, we'll pay you off, but you keep working here, but we're taking over your fucking place. And we told him if he didn't give us this place, we were gonna fucking off him. And we had this guy pretty scared. So we took over his place, and then we start competing with the other thieves gangs. And it went into like a sort of political gang war. It was fun, dude. We had a GM that was really good at running like town and city campaigns and stuff like this. So we start we're not even out adventuring. Our game is competing with these other thieves guilds. And we start offing everyone. We start offering our competition. We end up going to this town where some group raided it, and we go in and they think we're there to save them. Like, you're here to save us? The arguments, if you go back like 5 or 6 years ago, some of the early arguments to counter host rules or proper changes would be like, well, if you do that, it breaks the game. Well, dude, I've been running D&D since 1991, and I made lots of changes, and it doesn't break it all. So that's just absolute bullshit. Anybody who's made changes will know that right away. This is why the designers could make changes without it being a big issue. And if you understood the designers, they made changes and things worked. So it never broke the game. Most of the changes you would make would never snap the game in half. The game, here's the great thing about old D&D. It's flexible. That's the way I would put it, because it's so vague and so many areas. And the way the rules work, it's flexible. It's flexible to changes. Like if you want to make changes, right? If you discredit D&D for what it is if you don't acknowledge that. If you say it's going to, so they used their first early arguments to stick to raw was, well, if you make any changes, it breaks. Okay, that argument fails for the people on panels and doing YouTube for a while that were like AD&D 1E raw guys. After that argument fails, they stopped making that argument. Then it came down to, we use optional rules. No, man, you can use made up things. Like you can literally make, and then if you go into the way they run the game, what about when you get here and you don't have a specific rule? What do? There's no optional. you make something up, right? And they'll describe it to you, and I'm like, dude, are you saying people are doing something other than that? No. So even if I did a unique change, it was never enough to break the game. It was just all bullshit. I think a lot of people are just not that wise outside of thinking raw. And you could tell, like, the least creative people couldn't think like that, right? Yeah. People are like, well, why would that Asia guy talk to you? I'm like, dude, here's what happens. I tell old school people this all the time. When you don't have a biased mindset against me, I look completely different to people. I tell them that all the time outside of their bubble. Outside of your bubble, people look at me differently. Extremely differently. They just do not have the bias against me that you have. This is right. This is what the designers intend. If you look at the games, you'll line up what I'm saying. But most people, sadly, I'm not ditching on people. They've never done that, nor do I expect them to do what I'm saying, nor am I saying I do everything I'm talking about either. The camp scene is the exception, though. I do that that's a personal thing. Do I always pace when I do tune scenes with tune? Do I always make sure there's a perfect comedy break in the scene, in every scene? No. Does the designer intend you to do that in every scene? Yes. Not I don't think I see something. No, it's Craig Blackrose. And he's in the Wales area. So I think he's more appropriate time for supper. Supper past midnight. You want to know why? If you get home at that time, maybe. I know some people that would, you'd be like, hey, you're just eating supper now? Well, I fucking work all day. I always eat at this time I get home. Just saying. I hope I'm not just being too preachy. I hope some of this is educational, because what if some of the people hearing the games I cover, they want to go try them? I just want to give people the best opportunity, and I think it's unique to hear this stuff, because I think some of the text doesn't always teach us that well to people. And a lot of people can actually perform the way I'm saying. There's a lot of people out there I find with skills, and they actually run it down here, but they're actually capable of running it up here, but they just need to be pushed towards understanding. That's what it's calling for, right? I run games. Like, I mostly just like a fucking machine. I was addicted. Straight out, it's not even a brag, AJ. I was fucking addicted to gaming. Absolutely addicted. But here's a great example of guys that got into the hobby that I could tell that would not understand things. I'd ask the AD&D one guys, like, why are they making that many characters? So, well, like, it's a meat grinder. And I'm like, okay, could I watch how you play? Yeah. So I'd watch. I realized right away what the problem was. The guys didn't understand what the designers wanted from AD&D. I was like, oh. And it makes more sense now when I look at WotC. Trust me, when you know this, you get less offended by the WotC games. Because the majority played this way, and WotC actually caters to it more than we want to admit. Right? So, realistically, they would be running into combat all the time. Right? Oh, risk was another fucking interesting thing. Whew. I love it, though. It really is. WotC didn't understand that minor changes can alter the way you experience a game overall. Like, the perception check had to be the killer for me. I'm like, part of the flow in a dungeon in gameplay is just constant movement forward with less dice rolling, more interaction, more interactive stuff with the players, right? Like, you talk to the NPCs to try to talk your way through. And it's like little things like this. A lot of old school DMs, I knew how they handled interaction was this. Say you're talking to a guard to get by the bridge. You talk, if the guard agrees with you, he'll let you go by. If the guard disagrees with you, he'll say no. If you're not sure as a DM if the guard would say yes or no. You roll a dice like a charisma check. Now, through the whole thing, DM considers your charisma if it benefits your character, right? And like that, magic. Bathroom pizza. Oh yeah, the inside. Yeah. The haha joke about Craig. I remember that. If I were to run a tabletop website, and wanted it to pay for itself, I'd have to run ads in the background and add mute buttons to it that would mute the ads while they run. Not that mute every time. That would be so complicated. You have website and run. You'd have to, there's so much to that. You'd have to have a fucking platform to run on. What would that mean? Knives, you make something very difficult sound very plain. I could just do this. You know how many steps you'd have to take to actually set that up where people could play on a website and you could mute ads? I don't know. And then you'd have to have like what, Matt Mercer people that, because you're just gonna run a game. Well, if you want to just run a game, that's not going to be that entertaining. Remember, the games are more for about who's in the game. So in reality, the tabletop role-playing game is more about who's involved and your experience as a player or a DM. Natural play is not made for an onlooker. That's why they don't sell that well. Like Matt Mercer and them are not playing D&D the way you're meant to play D&D. It's a shame because I think it's a great game, and a lot of people will see the lies and what am I supposed to do? So that's it. And I have not seen anyone else who tried to put out a game with that much heat on them. So I was like, there's nothing to compare this to. Like, no one has like 6, 7, 8 YouTubers for the influence, all purposely lying about their games and attacking it and sabotaging it. Nobody has this many fucking fake reviews going on their thing. Like, I could understand again, for all the people that gave me some criticism about what they read and responded to it, like honest responses, I responded. They were all at least happy with my response. I took them very serious, and I was ready for that. As you should be. You should, like, I'm a public person. I'm already used to taking heat on YouTube. I have no problem taking disagreements or people criticizing the game if they didn't like it. I was all ready for that part. My problem was the lies. And then it's, if I mention at the time, well, these are lies. No, you just can't handle people not liking your game. Well, I know it's easy to say that, dude. But yeah, that was some things I've noticed. Like, it poisons the conversation because I don't think people understand things. They paint things like, we don't want you to have control. But what does control mean? Control doesn't mean I abuse you with control over the game. Control is to make sure like, my job to get you back to the table is to make sure you have a good time. But it's also to make sure I have a good time. And that's all I'm doing with authority. If authority ever abuses you and only benefits me, I'm old school. You don't come back to my table. Like, you punish me by not showing back up to the table. It's like, look, I don't know what people expect when they come to me. I'm doing tabletop role-playing game content. The door is always open to shoot the shit. But I don't talk about war. I'm not going to talk about Star Trek episodes. I'm not going to talk about fighting out at a bar. It's just not my thing. I can somewhat see why, but because I disagree with you on one thing wouldn't mean I'm angry. Oh, I'm not personally talking about you, but I can appreciate your new school, Miles. It's why we disagree and you keep coming back and talking to me. This is what I meant about the old school audience. Like, if they disagree with me like one or two things, they're fucking gone, right? It's old school. New school audience is used to just like Matt Colville. There's like, I know guys that are new school that will disagree with him on quite a few things, but the fact that they agree with him on 70% of things makes them happy with him. Like, that's good enough. That's good enough to get their support. Like, he doesn't need to be perfect. Well, I think part of it, but I think just DMing and natural, just doing it has helped. But yeah, stage, like, with players it's different, but I get what you're saying. Like, I can talk, but there's a bit more of an expectation of reaction with players. It's a bit different, but does it make me more confident as someone at the head of the table? Yeah, I would say it's helped. Though it was, to me, it was already there. Like my stage stuff, it's like not stuff I had to learn. I didn't have to become confident to get on stage. I was already there. So when I was set up on stage, I just realized, yep, I'm good with this. I never felt like I had to build confidence up. I just had it. Same thing with Game Master. I just had it. When I get on here, I just have it. Right? So I feel like I've always just, I don't know, maybe it's a natural side of me. That's it. I feel like I just have it. But has it improved just speaking overall? I mean, probably. I never thought of it in detail, but probably. It's helped with this. If there's less chat, because I'm used to the stage, as long as people are watching and that's not disappearing, I just keep talking. And I'm okay to talk without it being a conversation. Because I'm on here, I'm performing. So I'm not looking for the Discord conversation, but I can play to it. So if you start talking to me, yeah, and I love interacting. I love connecting with you guys. But to me, I can connect with you even if you don't respond to me. Like there's a connection. There's a connection. There's a real connection. The other thing I had to learn how to do with an audience is to make it effectively, to make myself happy, is learn how to give a shit about even the audience. This is what I learned early before YouTube, but it's effective on YouTube. Care about the people that you're talking to that you don't know. Like, love them. I said this when I hear the Craig and Black Rose, but I realize it's a genuine thing. Love people you don't know. So, and why is that important to me? Like, really, genuinely, give a shit about people you don't know. It's because if the way I would talk to somebody I care about and respect is the way I want to talk to the newcomer, the audience, the people I don't directly talk to. I want to talk to you like I give a shit about you. So that means then I care about giving you good information. Then I care about bringing up the unpopular idea if I think it progresses the thing. Then I care about performing for you. And I don't want you to feel it's fake, and I don't want to perform like a fake. So if I love people I don't know, like for real, I look out at people and like, I love you, even if I don't know you. That's the start of a connection, because people can feel when you give a shit about them. When people feel like you give a shit, and you do, like say you talk to me here and I give a shit, I really care. I know people feel that, and that's how you connect with people. I don't have time for it either. But that's where some of the guys on here are older and retired too. So they'll have, I guess, all kinds of time to do shit. And then some guys who just have issues on here. And then some guys, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Like, I've had a few guys who don't like me that try YouTube. And look, dude, it's not my fault if YouTube doesn't work out for you. That's on you. But they'll sit there and get all mad. And then some guys, they try to build themselves up on YouTube through attacking me too. That's another thing. So it all, from people that don't partake in the YouTube part of it, I would always hope they assume that seems a little off, but you should. But it does make sense to me. Like, why all this drama over nothing? It's because of this. And then, look, Bill, I'm a normal human being. If you cross me in a certain way, I'm not going to keep talking to you. In life, you get that. Oh, in some cases, it might even get them views. And that's why people will do that shit. It's not like attacking people don't. There is rage, fate, and all that. It does work to a degree. So I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's what inspires people to go sort of weirdo on you. But here's my issue, like, say, Bill Miles, and here's what gets people. They like to fuck around in this weird antisocial way on YouTube. But they'll still want to have me on the stream with them. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's exactly it, Adam. That's a million and 10% correct. Uh, you can try to speed that up, but you're the principle of what you're saying is you're still adding seconds. And it doesn't seem like much until you're going round after round. And you're adding like your extra seconds, his extra seconds, her extra seconds. It might have 5 players. What about the DM needing to roll? Um, I would work trying to get my players to roll quick, do things like that, but you still can't go overcome adding time on. And you want to make it. That's why I like old school combat, because it's quicker. There's less of these add-ons with WotC and many other games. There's a lot of add-ons that can kill combat. What you can sort of try to overcome some of it by getting players to roll fast. And this is why DMs, especially because they know pace in combat is very important. When you get to a player, it's like, all right, your turn, what are you doing? The reason players can get heat from a game master, or you'll hear the complaints about it, is because the game master understands that when you're slow, like, oh, I don't know, you have just killed the pace, and the excitement for the game master and the other players starts dying down because of one player. Not to get too much on Bear. I mean, we're talking about games here. I talk about Bear for a second, my friends. I do enjoy some hard liquor. The last time I drank was my birthday, which was May 3rd. That's the last time I had a drink. And everybody here knows, my regulars know, Black Rose knows about the drinking that night because I drank on the stream. I get a buzz. I was drinking whiskey. And I don't often drink. So it was one of those birthday things. For the birthday was, I don't know if it was more for me or more for the fucking people on the stream. I got on and started drinking. I was like, well, fuck it. Here we go. I'm going to drink. Well, I tell people, look, I don't care if you drink, just sip if you're playing the game. Like, if you get so smashed you can't play the game and that's a problem, you can't keep playing the game. I only talk about this YouTube thing because I've seen a guy that, it's a part of me that some people out there don't like me, or they hate me, or they've done some rotten things to me. It doesn't mean I completely hate them. I'm not the person people think I am. So even when I have people that don't like me, I can feel bad for what they're going through if I hear about it. You'd be like, how can you feel bad for that guy? That guy's done some rotten things to you. Like, well, it's just I'm not the person people paint me as. So regardless to somebody doing something rotten to me, I can feel bad for what they're going through, because I'm really not the bad person people think I am. See, I have a rule. I never let people control. What do you mean, Steven? It means I'll tell players, well, we don't want to do that. Well, okay, I'll go watch grass grow. The game's over. I'm not running the game for you. If I was a player, yeah, we're doing this. Well, okay, then I'm not playing. I'll go with it again. Period. Oh, you won't play? Yeah, I won't play. Either you adjust or I won't be at the table. Your choice. Again, as a player, I go watch grass grow. As a game master, I go watch grass grow. That's it. I'm not saying that I need to have control over everything, but there has to be a reasonable center. And it's not that I'm looking to be master of everyone, but if there's no meat in the middle for things, I'm gone. Like, if we can't meet in the middle here, if it's all your way and or the highway, well, guess what? I'll choose the highway. I did buy some modules when I was younger, mostly for maps and some ideas I could work on. And like, you could use, I get the maps and all that cool stuff, but to be honest, I even get used to that's one area I actually like doing, was making my own maps, making my own stuff for my own games. I like doing it all the time. So I like making maps. I actually prefer that. That's it. I'm no super artist in that way, but I like making maps. I didn't mind the amateur appearance to things. I'm old school, so most everything looked amateur anyway, even stuff that was coming out in the books, right? Yes, egg. I'm like you. I just never really had the time for most of it, so I would just ignore it. Once you know sandboxing, you just know how easy it is. Like you take a few notes to start up, but it doesn't take much to think out an idea of a starting point, the town, and some ideas. And once you write that all out, that's actually fun. That's your own creativity. It's people forget just to enjoy that part. I enjoy the setup to the campaign. Then you write out your pitch, right? And you can't plan too much further. You sort of get a structure, a pitch of why the characters are starting somewhere, some type of structure maybe. Beyond that, they're starting in a place, and there are several things they can do. And then you're going to start the game at one point. They're going to do it. They're going to do. You want to put some pressure on them and then hope. That'd be nice. I get some guys who are willing to be insulted on screen and just take it. Not me, though. Not me. You'll ask my chat. Ask my chat what I'm like if you fucking rile me up. Say something disrespectful to me. See how that goes for you. Right? Even say it the wrong way. Dismiss something I said. If I say something and you carelessly dismiss that, see how I get. Oh, fuck, man. It's not that I'm sitting there looking for a war. It's just I'm ready for the disagreement and debate. And I am not shy. I get some people paint a false picture with me over the years. They're like, oh yeah, you tell him off. Like, no, dude, trust me. Try me. Try me. Try me. We'll see how it goes for you. Right? I get very verbally aggressive. Somewhat like a railroad of their choice. But yeah, Bill gets it like a wagon train. He's just saying it's way wider. Who knows if they're going to fucking... It's just a way bigger thing. But they're choosing. Hooks and that could be good. Yeah, but you got to understand, Squirrel. There's no need for the ticket. Or the ride at all. That's... If you just put modules aside and do the sandbox, no ticket, no ride required. I hate to say it, modules were cool, but here's the truth about them. And this is what I try to tell people. It's not to make them feel bad. It's just the truth. You can still like modules. It doesn't mean we ignore reality. For TSR, if you're covering the history like I have done, what is a module? A module is a money grab. I'm like, dude, I'm a bro, sir. You're not geniuses. You are promoting the most simple shit ever. Should have taken some sort of moral check and the rider animal checking. Could have done all that. You could have made those decisions. But this guy just didn't know. He never thought to make decisions on his own. Could have done exactly what you're saying, Philo. Could have said, fuck, I'll do this. A real game master can just think in the way you're thinking, Philo. And then just make a decision to get you to do it. Right? But when you got to these raw match with module DMs, they couldn't make up an adventure. They have to run the adventure pre-made for them. Exactly it is. And this is where you get the hard railroad guys too, right? Because they just weren't real game masters. They weren't real DMs. And it's just that AD&D had, he just required it. They had so many players coming in that you have no time to build up DMs. DMs could take a year or 2 or 3 to develop into something decent and good or stay around. So if you have a surplus of players coming in within a month, you don't have time for 3 years. And you don't have enough DMs to cover the players coming in. So how do you quickly develop what we call a PlayStation? Rush them in with the pre-made modules and raw. Remember World War Z? Where does the new United Nations government go to? Where's the one safe place everybody goes to during the whole fucking fallout? Like, at least they talk about in the book and they show in the movie. Nova Scotia. Talk with your ass, you look like... Talk with your ass, you look like one, call it the Ace Ventura effect. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you talk with your ass, you look like one. That's exactly it. So I just try not to bullshit people ever. I just don't talk about things I don't know. And why bother? Like, if I do talk about something I don't know, I'm very honest. So, like, if you notice in my dialogue, I'm very careful. Even when I was talking to Nalty there, even when I'm saying what I'm saying this might not be any good to you. I don't know everything, right? So this might sound incorrect to you, depending on the rest of your story. It's just, look, I'm someone who's used to being a public game master, learning how to talk to people, and look, I looked like an ass in the past. I know what it is to talk out my butt and talk about things that I should have known a bit more about, or make an argument about something I realize is not honest. I like the truth more than I like winning an argument. So, plenty of times in the past, people will tell you that really know me. Steven's never been the type that will just keep arguing bullshit. Like, I remember one of my early things on here on YouTube, I ran into Samwise Tim, really sweet, nice guy. And class act, extreme class act, used to be a constant YouTuber. Does YouTube every so often now, is on that side. We are still like connected, but we just don't talk often. But one of my first early interactions was with him. It was under a video. And of course, I'm strongly arguing something that I should have known more about, but I'm strongly arguing it like as if my assumptions are right. So a lot of people do that. They assume things and then think their assumptions are facts. I was guilty of that. Had assumptions, thought it was correct, like fact, argued it really harshly. And Tim, a class act, doesn't get brutal with me, but just outright is right. Just shows me how I'm wrong. I was like, man, jeez. But it's a great example of the type of guy I am. At least I like to think. The one decent side about me, no matter what, is when I lost the argument, I lost, and I was like, "You're right, dude." Because no matter at what period of my life, I've always had the humbleness to go, truth matters more to me than winning an argument.